Hey everyone, and welcome back. So, hopefully, everyone's doing good tonight. I know I am in a pretty good mood. We're starting off a really strong month of December. Um, and I've got to say, number one, before we get into anything, I want to thank everyone who watched the videos over the last month because November was actually a really, really good month for the channel. And it's always appreciated when you guys watch the content, when you're there for the content. Obviously, I try to make the content as good as I can, and hopefully, um, the fact that I put a lot more time into the videos over the last month was part of the reason why people tuned in more than usual. But I did want to start by thanking you all because, the final numbers came in for November and it was a very good month for the channel. Means that I'm getting motivated because I'll be honest, 2024 as a year was pretty rough. Um, all Switch channels or Nintendo channels are feeling the fact that everyone's waiting for the next console. Hype is starting to die down on the current Switch generation. So the fact that so many of you are still tuning in to most of the videos is honestly an awesome thing to see. And like I said, I just can't thank you all enough for that part. So tonight we're back to more of a traditional style warp zone where we're going to be looking at some news today hitting the Switch. Um, I'll be honest, there was nothing like major, but I think a lot of little stories that are really important for you to be aware of because there are some really games that I was super excited for that have been delayed. Not only one game, there's a couple of games. Um, we have some games that have been delisted. Uh, to be honest, some are going to be more impactful than others, but I'm probably going to get a little bit into the whole, digital only future stuff again in that stuff because I do think it's trending towards that direction where this is, it's becoming reoccurring, and I do think we're going to start hitting some really big, well-known franchises soon that are going to be rough to be picked up digitally. Um, trust me, when I saw that myself, my whole next week was ruined because next Tuesday I was gonna stream the game twice. I was gonna get up at 9 a.m. and stream the game in the morning and then stream it after work. Like I was gonna stream it before and after my 9 to 5 job, and like my whole plan now is like kiboshed because of that. But we'll get into it. We'll get into it. The good news is it's not that long that we're gonna have to wait. It just timing wise is really bad. We're gonna get into that. Don't worry. We're gonna take a look at all of that today. Um, and basically, yeah. So we're gonna take a look at that. We're gonna talk about a few good news. Like we've got some updates coming to Nintendo Switch Online. If you haven't seen it, I think they're pretty interesting updates as well. And obviously, we're gonna talk about my favorite thing on planet Earth, proving that I'm right. Because I said something about where Echoes of Wisdom is in the Zelda timeline. Well, Nintendo has officially updated the Zelda timeline to see where Echoes of Wisdom is. And guess what? I was right. So if you guys were hearing for past streams where I talked about Echoes of Wisdom, where I thought it was in the timeline and all of that, we're gonna see confirmation today. So, and if you didn't know, well, if you weren't there for that stream, well, you're gonna find out where Echoes of Wisdom is in the whole timeline of the various Zelda games. So, like I said, I hope everyone is doing well tonight. I want to say hi to everyone so far that has popped up in the chat. Hello, Nanaki, Jose, Camonte, Grovel. Welcome, all of you. By the way, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Helps put out the stream to more people. And we're going to start jumping into the stories pretty quick. Before that, however, I did want to show you guys, because part of me wanted to actually unbox this on stream tonight. I'm just adjusting the camera a bit. Part of me wanted to open my Turtles game on stream tonight that I got for Black Friday. But I decided not to because it was going to be too much camera work. Like for you guys, seeing me adjust cameras from going to out to in and stuff was going to be just like not fun. But I just wanted to show you how big the collector's edition is for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants Unleashed. The box is freaking huge. Now, I hopefully am going to be able to film the video and put it out tomorrow. But this is the collector's edition of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants Unleashed. Like I put out a picture, but I found the picture really didn't do justice to how big this collector's edition is, and it's like pretty fat too. It's like it's a big box. It's there, and it's pretty heavy. But the Marvel Snap controversy. Honestly, I'm not even aware of the Marvel Snap controversy. If you have a link, you can put it there. I can check it out, but I'd probably have to read up on it to see what it's all about. Now, the only thing that really sucks is that hey Annie, welcome. Psychosis, welcome as well. Nice. You were watching the stream from the TV in your room. Awesome. What I was saying is, like, yeah, the collector's edition, what really sucks is the game is pretty mid, though. Like, I'll be honest, this is not the best Turtles game, and that is originally why I didn't pick up this collector's edition, because here in Canada, it's like $270 plus tax, which is like almost $300. But when I saw it for $100 for Black Friday, I had to pick it up. Like, for the collector's part alone. But yeah, it's freaking huge, and you understand why I said the camera work was going to be why the camera work was going to be rough. It's because I was going to have to unbox part of this with like a far out cam, then go close in for what's in the box. It was going to be way too much camera work to open up like on a stream. But I just had to sort of show the size of that thing. What mammoth of a box it is. Let me see. No talk about the Marvel. It has to do with card acquisition. Honestly, I played Marvel Snap like for about a week, and then I moved on. Not because the game is bad, just because for me, I've played way more complex card games, and the lack of complexity was. It's nothing. It's a super fun game to pick up and play rapidly, but like I played too many card games in my life. Like I used to be like, I know a lot of you don't know this, but I used to be ranked in the top 100 players for Magic in Canada. Like I used to be on the like I used to do the pro circuit for Magic the Gathering. So I'm very, very picky with my card games. Like I'm not saying it's not complex. It's just, at least when I played it, but you know, look, I played it when it first came out, so there was not that much card selection. I'll be honest on that. So I am willing to admit that I haven't played it lately, and card selection could have gotten much better. But originally, at least, I found the strategy like it lacked depth once. Like there was no, it was very hard to turn around a match that you were losing or winning. It was a very like momentum based game where like the strategies often resembled each other. But like I said, I haven't played it, and I played it on release for about a week, and I loved the game at first, and I just got tired of it quickly. So I'd have to look into it, because I'm honestly like card acquisition and all that stuff. I'm really not versed in Marvel Snap enough to probably give a well-formed opinion about it. But yeah. Decks don't usually pop off until the final turn. Yeah, it's possible. Marvel Snap. Grovel's talking about Marvel Snap. But I'll check into it after the stream, and maybe we can talk about it on Friday. I can try and form an opinion, a good opinion by Friday, and see what it's all about. I'm just going to keep my voice nice and safe because I've been having a bit of a scratchy throat. And I just don't want it to get any worse at all. Okay, so I think with all that, let's start jumping into the stories really quickly. We'll do this like really mellow tonight. We've got 9 new games to look at too towards the end of the stream. And I don't know why I'm not logged into my X account here. That is so freaking weird. Give me a sec, guys. Yeah, no, it's not on screen. Am I with, is this the right account? Oh no, I know what's up. I know what's up. Give me a sec, guys. I gotta fix something really quick. It's gonna take 10 more seconds and then we will take a look. Where is, there it is. Aha, here we go. Okay, so let's switch on over and we're going to take a look at our first story. Now, we're going to be talking about a couple of games that got delisted. The good news is we're going to start with the one that is a not too much of a worry. So it's not really... we are going to look at Fantasian Neo Dimension. It's on my list, champ. It's on my list for the week. Don't worry, it's there. The Joy-Cons can't handle 9 souls. Honestly, I would never recommend playing that on Joy-Cons. At least not standard Joy-Cons. Like, I would definitely, and look, like, I've talked about them, and it's not just because I'm an affiliate, but I would recommend really getting a pair of Nixies if you want, because these have full-size joysticks. I do agree with you, Medusa. I would never play, like, a hardcore Metroidvania that would require a lot, or a D-pad. Like, you need to get yourself a pair of Nixies. Or, like, some of the comparable brands. Like, if you don't want Nixies, there are some comparable brands out there. But I strongly recommend them. I can't play, like, anything with the base Joy-Cons almost. Would not recommend it. But yeah, okay. So getting back to the story at hand. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so Triangle Strategy is temporary. So we got this on X on December 1st, so yesterday. We found out that Triangle Strategy is temporarily unavailable to purchase on the Nintendo Switch eShop. So those who have already bought the game will be able to keep downloading it, but Square Enix is working on this, and they will update when the game is able to be purchased again. Now, this is only a temporary delisting. So I wanted to start with this one because this one is more like a PSA. Okay, don't be worried if you were planning on buying Triangle Strategy, which, by the way, is an excellent strategy RPG. If you have not had a chance to play it and you are into strategy RPGs, it is amazing. But fair warning, the story is a very slow burn. Like, it takes a while to get going, but when it gets going, it is phenomenal. If you want, like, almost Game of Thrones level political, like, assassinations and crap like that in a video game, Triangle Strategy is going to be amazing. Okay, a lot of machinations, a lot of deep storyline, awesome game. That being said, I did want to point this out more because in case you were looking for the game, trying to download it, and you're like, oh my god, I lost my chance, it is gone. And I saw physical copies start to jump up in price because some people, I guess, are freaking out that the game will no longer be available. Don't, guys. Don't be worried. This is very normal. The exact same thing happened with Octopath Traveler, okay? This is simply because the game was originally published by Nintendo, and most likely the publishing rights ran out, and Square Enix is repossessing the publishing rights, okay? So basically, most likely within a week or two, it'll be back up. However, the publisher will now read as Square Enix rather than Nintendo. So I do want to tell you guys, do not worry about this. There's no like evil plan here or anything like that. It is simply because most likely they had a deal with Nintendo to be the publisher for like probably the first 2 years of the game. It ran out, and now Square Enix is going to publish the game themselves. And yes, that means ripping it off the eShop and putting it back up on the eShop. Okay? But yeah. The next one, though, will get more into the whole let's not trust digital stuff. Now, look, I love the eShop. You know, guys, I do eShop deals every week. So I have nothing against buying games on the eShop. However, I do strongly believe that for game preservation, like especially for the games you love the most, it is important to invest in physical. Now, does every single eShop game need a physical? Obviously not. But I do agree with you guys. We are getting into that territory, and we're this close. I'm telling you guys, we're this close to a major company or a major brand doing something crazy and delisting a bunch of games that people paid a lot of money for. This going to court and having finally the government have to step in. Because right now, the problem with digital media is not the digital media itself. It's the inequality in power between the consumer and the publisher or whoever's selling you the game. Okay? Basically, all the rights and all the power are on the publisher side, and the consumer has like next to nothing rights-wise, which is not normal. Like in any consumer like exchange, if you're giving money, it should come with rights and guarantees. Right now, there is absolutely none of that, and we're always depending on the companies doing the right thing, which is not necessarily a good way, in my opinion, to go about things. Now that brings us to the other delisting, and this one is going to be a little more. The franchise itself is not going to be a major one because I don't think NASCAR on the Switch is a major franchise. Okay, NASCAR is a major franchise, but NASCAR on the Switch is not. However, there are other games that are being delisted, and I do think these have a very high likelihood to not return. Okay. That is NASCAR Heat and NASCAR Rivals are also going to be delisted on the Nintendo Switch. By the way, this story came from Nintendo Everything, and every story, every tweet we're going to look at tonight, links are in the description of the video down below. So if you do want to check them out yourself, you can. And definitely, for example, Nintendo Everything, they cover stories. They're pretty solid on their coverage. They're very good at popping out these little highlights here. Awesome site, check them out. But what I was going to say is NASCAR Heat and NASCAR Rivals are going to be delisted on the Nintendo Switch. Now, if we read the story really quickly, Motorsports Games has announced on social media that it's delisting various NASCAR games on the digital storefronts. Now, they will be delisting on December 31st of 2024. So just in case you're a NASCAR fan, if you've bought these games but you don't have them currently installed on your Switch, you do have till December 31st to re-download them, install them on your Switch. If they're installed on your Switch, there will be no issue. You'll have them as long as they're installed. Physical copies will also remain unaffected, so you will be able to re-download the games for the moment. The one thing I would warn is I never trust that you will be able to re-download, because that does have an expiration tag on it, and they often don't warn as much about that part. They warn when it's going to be delisted, but I guarantee you in 3 years, if you try to re-download these games, it will not work. Okay? It generally is, I would say, 6 months to a year after, the re-download is going to be limited as well. Now, the reason why I don't think that these games are going to see the light of day again And this is where we get into the dangers. This is where we get into the real dangers of digital only, is that the rights to NASCAR have transferred over from the publisher of this game to, with his motorsport games, to a new publisher. So the part behind this that we don't necessarily see in any of this is that, once again, the reason why this is happening is that publisher rights are changing from one company to another. And with a franchise like NASCAR, where you don't only have the NASCAR license, but you also have the likeness of the drivers that were included in the games, you have the models, you have the brands of the cars used in the games, it is very highly unlikely that the new publisher will try to close deals with all these different license holders to have these games republished. Could it happen? Maybe. If there was a blanket deal with NASCAR that the likenesses and sort of brands all came with the package. But to be just honest, it is really, really sad that we are starting to see this happen to more and more games. And that's where I said that the digital future is going to be worrisome. And for consumer rights, like, no one's gonna get up in arms for NASCAR Rivals and NASCAR Heat. Okay, that's not what I'm saying here. These aren't the franchises that are gonna get people moving. But there will be a day, like I said, that one of the major publishers is going to pull the plug on a crap ton of games, and someone's going to lose like 50 games out of their library, and it's going to go insane. Like, I'm going to give you just a quick example. There was a lot of talk of Ubisoft being sold. Imagine if Ubisoft gets sold tomorrow morning and Ubisoft was running their own launcher for a while. Imagine if all the games on their launcher become no longer accessible after the sale because the new publisher decides on a different strategy. That could mean hundreds to thousands of dollars that people have invested over the years of games that lost. Yeah, whether Ubisoft sucks right now in their publishing of games and stuff, that I'm not gonna get into tonight, but it's the principle that consumers need to have protections integrated into these deals, where even if something is sold from one to another or whatnot, publishing rights should be maintained, or every publisher should have the duty to guarantee a certain period of time where their game is available. And if they're not prepared to do that, or if the platform holders where the games are being sold are not prepared to do that, well, just too goddamn bad. They can't sell their game. And look, Steam has broken down on things very recently. I don't know if you guys know, but Steam has really, really tightened the noose around DLC. You can no longer offer DLC that doesn't explain what is included in the DLC with a specific time frame. And if they miss the time frame by more than 3 months, publishers have to reimburse games. But the problem with all of this isn't even the fact that I'm super glad Steam is doing this, because it's been a while that publishers have been getting away with like really, really bad promises for DLC and packs and things like that, and seasons and season passes that never see the light of day or come out a year later when you've moved on and you're not even playing the game anymore, but you can't get the DLC pack that you bought like reimbursed. But Immortals Fenyx Rising is really good. Annie, by the way, I really liked Immortals Fenyx Rising. People are talking really badly about Ubisoft, but they've put out a couple of really good games that are sad that they didn't catch on. The worst is the only games catching on are the games that shouldn't be, and the games that should have caught on just haven't. Immortals Fenyx Rising was actually pretty decent. It could have been a nice foothold for a future franchise. And Prince of Persia. But yeah, let's stop hating on Ubisoft. The point is not all is that we are talking simply about it's sad that Steam has to do this instead of the government. Governments should have already made what Steam just mandated law and consumer protection, and shouldn't have waited for a platform like Steam to be the responsible ones and say like, hey guys, it's too much now. Yeah, I same thing, Psychosis Media. I got into there's a very simple reason why I no longer buy anything from Apple. I had a huge Apple library of videos in the early 2010s that was lost, and I was never able to recover it because Apple back then didn't let you re-download movies that you already bought if you didn't back up your library yourself. That has changed, but I was fighting with them for months, and I lost hundreds of movies that I had bought digitally, which to me was safer because I'm like, hey, if I lose my computer, I can just re-download them. Well, guess what? That's not the way it works because they lost licensing for like half the movies I bought. So yeah, it was garbage. It was pure garbage. So I get you guys. And that's why I'm such an advocate for this stuff, because I myself have lived through worse times than now. Now it's getting a little better, but we're depending on the companies to be the good guys. That's not the way it should be. We should have protections in place so that the companies have to be the good guys. But anyway, the last thing I do want to say, guys, and this is really, I've talked about it a couple of times, and I'm glad that they reminded me. The Genesis Classic Collection, guys. The Sega Genesis Classics Collection. If you guys don't have this game yet, you only have 3 days left to pick it up on Switch. The Sega Genesis Classics Collection is being delisted on December 6th. So if you do not have this collection yet, right now is the time to buy it. And this is cheaper. It's $8.99 if I'm not mistaken in the US, because it popped me up the Canadian site here. But if you do not have this, this is over 50 Sega Genesis games. I have it physically too. If you can get a physical copy, I think they still have some at VGP, at Video Games Plus. But if not, if at least you pick this up, there's 3 hours left on the sale. $8.99, 50 Sega Genesis games. I guarantee you they are going to re-release this for more expensive. Sega is on an upturn right now. Their franchises are gaining popularity. And when they put this collection out, they had to, because Sega was in such bad shape that they had to throw in 50 games for like $40. Okay? No joke. Yes, the emulation of some of the games are not the best. I'll give you that. But it is 50 games that are all very playable. That some of these games, to buy the originals, are like $300. Like Alien Soldier or Alien, I think it's Alien Soldier, is like $300 if you want it on Sega Genesis. You've got it here in the collection for like one of 50 games for like next to nothing. You've got, oh my gosh, Shining Force 1 and 2 on this collection. Amazing strategy RPGs if you've never played them. Like, just for those two games, the $8.99 is worth it. Okay? It's worth it. I know it. I think it's already been $6.99. I think you're right, Black Spiders. I'm just saying that there's like in 3 days you just can't buy it anymore. So $8.99 is not the worst thing I've ever seen. So if you don't have it yet, I have the physical, like a couple of people said. Okay. So that was the last thing I wanted to talk about, delisting games. And I really want to say, if any of you have contacts with lawmakers and stuff like that, it is time to start talking about this, because the problem too right now, I think, is we're in a generational gap thing where a lot of the current lawmakers don't understand these problems yet. And if we wait till the next generation to fix them, and like I myself, I'm probably in the oldest people that really understand this problem. The companies are going to get even bigger, and we're going to lose some really great games out there. So, delisting games, it's sad. We're seeing it more and more. I'm going to try to keep up to date with all of it so that you guys know what to pick up when it happens. But obviously I can't keep up with everything because it's so hard. Sometimes there's some really lesser known franchises that disappear all of a sudden. $5.99 on Xbox, awesome. So on Xbox you can pick it up for a little bit cheaper. Okay, moving on from delisting games, we're gonna be jumping into, unfortunately, delayed games. Rita's Rewind. When I saw this, guys, I was destroyed. Now, once again, Nintendo Life here put together a really nice article. But just so you know how close we were to this game was supposed to come out next Tuesday. Not tomorrow, Tuesday of next week. Okay? On December 10th. I had a day planned around this. We were going to play this next Tuesday. I was working my 9 to 5, but my 9 to 5 was going to be a 12 to 8 that day, and we were going to play it twice. I was going to play it in the morning as soon as it came out, and then again at night. So first of all, I just want to say they ruined my Tuesday next week. They ruined it. My Tuesday is destroyed. Because I was waiting for this game so bad. Like, so bad, you guys have no idea. You know what's worst as well is that it's going to be out, but it's going to be out on Steam, but not on Xbox or Switch. So basically, I'll read through quickly the article here, but due to unforeseen circumstances, the Nintendo Switch release has been slightly delayed. Instead of the original 10th of December release date, alongside PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam versions, it will now be released on the 19th of December 2024. So sorry, I got it wrong there. Xbox is still releasing on the 10th as well. It is only the Switch release that is releasing on the 19th. So yes, we're going to have to wait for an extra 9 days. And on top of it, it's coming out on a Thursday, where Thursday I can't switch my work schedule, so I can't play it in the morning. So extra little bit of pain coming there. So unfortunately, due to some technical issues, online play will also not be available for at least a few weeks on Switch. So on top of it, when we're going to get the Power Rangers game, unfortunately, the online play won't work for at least a few weeks. And it won't work on Switch and Xbox platforms. That's why I thought it was delayed on Xbox. It's the online that won't work for Xbox either. However, two-player online play will be supported for PlayStation and Steam at launch, and support for additional players for all versions will be available soon after this. Thankfully, this won't impact offline players. So at least you will be able to play it multiplayer in local co-op. You just won't be able to play online. Okay, and they tried to make a joke out of it, and look, I'm going to give them props. I'm glad they're not releasing a broken game, okay? Let's be clear with that. I'm not saying I wanted them to release a broken game, because if they needed time, take the time, okay? But I'm just disappointed because, dude, this was actually my biggest game of the holiday season. I know for a lot of people it was other games. For me, it was Rita's Rewind. Man, I want my Power Rangers game. I want my good Power Rangers game. But the blurb, they said they tried to turn it into a joke, so we would like to blame Robo Rita for these issues. But we just need a little extra time to deliver on everyone's expectations, including our own. We'll continue to improve and enhance the game after launch to make it what you and we want it to be. We wanted to update you as quickly as possible once the situation became clear. Thank you for your support and understanding. Now, I'll be honest, this does make me a little bit scared as well. I'm really hoping, though, that at least the game does come out easily playable. And playable, but without too many issues. Now, part of me is thinking that I'm going to buy it on Steam next week, play it on Steam Deck on Tuesday, and then buy it again for Switch when it comes out. I don't know if I'm thinking about it. I want to play this game enough that I actually might buy it and see how it runs on Steam Deck. And we can play it on Steam Decks next Tuesday. because I don't want them to F up my Tuesday, man. Like, I was excited for next Tuesday. Now I'm sort of on the on the bender for next Tuesday. But so the good news is we won't have to wait too long. The bad news is we have to wait at all. But this was a little bit of disappointing news that hit us, and it's actually given me a little tingling of worry. Like, will the game run well on Switch? And that's actually maybe another reason why I want to get the Steam version and the Switch version, so I can compare performance on both. To really just, my heart is with the Switch, but I feel like this one deserves a comparison. And I think for me, it's a big enough, I think it's a big enough, like, it's an important enough game for me that it's okay to buy it twice. I wish it was a little bit cheaper because it's like $35. So which means like it's going to end up being like a $70 game for me. But I feel like it might be worth it. By the way, developer, if you're watching this, I would love a review code, please. little self-promotion there. Come on. Buy on Sony too, Rick. I could play it on PlayStation, but I feel like I want to compare it on the Steam Deck just because it's a portable versus a portable. You know what I mean? That's why I'm thinking Steam Deck. It's not because I don't love my PlayStation. It's just because I have no doubt that the game will run better on like the on the PS5 than it will on Switch. Well, run better, it depends, because it can run the same if the game, is properly optimized. Yeah, exactly. And I'm not made out of money. It's going to become a $105 game. And yes, Annie, hey, my best wishes to you. You know what? If my Tuesday was turning bad, it's your surgery day. You know what? Don't give me good vibes. I want all of us to give you the good vibes. It's Annie's big surgery day next Tuesday. Everyone, like, in the chat, can you, like, send her good vibes? Give her a little heartfelt, like, you're going to do great. Because honestly, we're going to be thinking about you. I will be thinking about you. I'll, yeah, exactly. Good vibes, guys. Yeah, exactly. So I'm complaining about my Power Rangers game when, there's actual real problems out there. So doesn't mean I'm not going to keep doing it. I mean, I just like, it's nothing compared to that. So good vibes for you. So we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, unfortunately delayed. We're not going to spend more time on this. It sucks, but at least they know that they should take the time to not put out a broken game, which I have to applaud them for that part. However, okay. After that, we have which I don't know why I don't have the story open. Aha. We have another delay, however, hitting us. And this one is really hitting us because the game was supposed to be out tomorrow. And it's another game that I was really looking forward to playing. And that is Antonblast. Now, this one is a little sadder because we don't have a replacement release date. And I'll be honest with you guys, I found this out because I was trying to find the price for the game. Because when I was doing my list of upcoming games for the week, one of my top game of the week was Antonblast. Now, if you haven't seen Antonblast, it is basically like if you played Pizza Tower, it basically plays very close to Pizza Tower or Wario Land. If you've played Wario Land, the game plays very similar to that. There's actually a free demo that you can download and play for yourself, by the way. So you can check it out. But Antonblast was supposed to be coming out tomorrow, and I could not find the sales price of the game for the life of me. So when I went digging on Twitter, I found this. The game has been delayed. They are still aiming for the end of the year. But unfortunately, they don't know if they're going to make it. Now, end of the year, let's be honest, guys, we don't have much time left. We've got like 3.5 weeks left till the end of the year, or like 4 weeks maybe. 4 weeks left till the end of the year. But let's read just really quickly. This is Tony Grayson, studio head at Summit Sphere. I'm writing today with some news about Antonblast's Nintendo Switch version. So once again, it's the Switch version. We were very optimistic about launching the Nintendo Switch release day and date with the Steam version on December 3rd. So once again, Steam is coming out tomorrow still. And we have been working down to the wire to make sure it's absolute best it can be. However, it's become apparent today that this version will not be ready on time for that date. The reason for this is simple. We need more time to make sure that this version of the game is running at peak performance and meeting our own high standards, as well as Nintendo's. I can appreciate that this delay may be frustrating, and I'd like to take this opportunity to personally apologize for the short notice. Our partners at Nintendo have been incredible to work with, and together we are committed to giving Switch players the best experience possible. We're now in the process of sorting out the new release date on a schedule that works for all parties. While I don't have a specific date to announce today, we're aiming to release the Switch we're aiming to release on Switch before the end of year, and we'll keep our fans updated every step of the way. The Steam version of Antonblast will launch as planned on December 3rd at 12 p.m. Eastern. For Kickstarter backers who wanted a Nintendo Switch key, you can swap to Steam on your fan gamer survey at any time, or simply hold off until the Switch version launches. We'll be doing a Twitch live stream that morning in anticipation of the launch, answering fan questions and showcasing the game. So once again, what really annoys me about this is the fact that it's releasing on another console before. Because for someone like me who wants to cover the game, it really hurts to not get those first day views. And this is another game I was super hyped about. We played the demo on stream, by the way. So I played the demo with all of you. When this game was announced, I think the day of or the following week, we played the demo online. And it takes some getting used to, but once you get used to the game, it was playing amazing. I could not wait for this one. It was another fast-paced game with graphics that reminded me of the Sega Genesis. I was talking about a mix between Sonic and Taz the Tasmanian Devil. But after that, I remembered that the game actually played like Pizza Tower. Like Pizza Tower was a much better, more modern reference, or Wario Land. Like the character actually plays a lot like Wario from Wario Land as well. So it's like fast-paced racing through levels. Things are timed, and anyway, it's a blast. Like I know it's a sort of a play on words, but it's a blast. It's sad. I thought we were gonna play the game on Friday. This was supposed to be the game we were going to play this week, so I have to come up with a plan B. We're going to look at the list of games coming out, but I'll be honest, although we have a ton of other good games coming out this week, they don't necessarily feel like stream games, except for maybe one, which we're going to look at when we're doing the list, but another game delay. So am I happy that they're delaying it and they're putting out the game in good quality? Once again, yes, but oh my God, I just want to say this maybe shows us it's time for the next Switch. If developers are having trouble with like indie games like 2D, like, 2D fighters and stuff, and, 2D action platformers, I think we need stronger hardware, because it's coming out on Steam without any issues. You know what I mean? If the Steam version was delayed as well, I would say it's the game itself. The fact that it's just a Switch version coming out for performance issues, it means that they're having problems having it run on the Switch that for most Steam hardware isn't presenting the same problems. So this just hammers home. I love my Switch, but we need a new version, guys. We need a new version. Anyway, so if any of you were looking forward to Antonblast, unfortunately, it's going to be delayed. When we're going to do the new games of the week, I'm going to mention it because for anyone that will be watching the video tomorrow, I do want to make sure that they're aware of it. So, by the way, if I do repeat myself for this one game in the upcoming games, we're not going to watch the trailer, but I am going to point out that Antonblast was delayed. I'm going to put the trailer muted in the background while I talk about it. Like, Rickard, what are we going to do if the Switch 2 doesn't hit like we all think, like for the channel? Honestly, I don't think we're like I'm not thinking in a plan B type scenario because number one, it's gonna hit. I'm confident it's gonna hit, but look, if the channel does bad because it doesn't hit, I would like we'll take that as it comes. But I don't have like I'm not making a plan B for the moment. Could we start looking at like for me to switch to something else, it would have to tank hard. Like views would have to be worse than what they've been this year, which by the way is like and I'm not talking okay, understand me. I'm not saying this cuz I'm complaining cuz this is the same for all Switch channels, okay? But this is one of the worst years since I hit around 10,000 viewers. Like if we take the last 3 years, this is the worst year I've had, but it's normal because things are down, okay, view-wise. But if you look at even the big players like beat 'em ups, RGT, everyone that covers a lot of Switch, all their Switch stuff is down. It's normal. It's the end cycle. It's like that, okay? No problem there. I cannot see the Switch 2 not picking up some steam and being better, okay? The one thing I could say is that let's imagine things go really bad. I would still probably cover indie games, but let's say we would focus more on Switch releases and stuff like that. Because indie games are really now where my heart is. I love playing my AAA games from time to time. Look, I love Call of Duty. I love all of that. But I've got to tell you, my best memories over the last like 5 years have been from indie games. And indie games that I never thought I would have loved. That I ended up loving because the innovation feels more honest. You can see people are making more games for the love of the games rather than like cookie cutter, like trying to hit like sales numbers. Like I'm sure they want it, they want their games to sell. It just doesn't feel like that's their sole purpose in it. If that makes any more sense in what I'm saying. But anyway, we so yeah, we're not going to think in that mentality though, because honestly, like Nintendo would have to F this up historically for it not to hit. But like, don't worry about that, guys. I don't think we're ever going to shift away from a Nintendo focus. And even the only thing that would maybe happen is that if I could become a full-time creator, it's just we would put the other systems on top of Nintendo. You know what I mean? No, don't make the eShop better. It makes me more relevant. Keep the crappy eShop. I'm going to tell you guys what to buy. Okay? You don't need a better eShop. Just keep the crappy eShop. No, guys, stop telling Nintendo to make a better eShop. Okay? Stop it. Come on, guys. Do you want the channel to be successful or not? I'm just joking. Now, I would love a faster eShop. And I would agree that a couple of better filter options would be cool, even from my perspective, because I hate having to use third-party sites to search the eShop. I would love to be able to search the eShop directly on the eShop rather than have to use third parties support sometimes to search the eShop. I find it's like sad. Okay. Now let's go take a look at why I was right. Because like I said, one of my favorite things in life is being right. And once again, I've been proven right. So who here remembers when we were talking about Echoes of Wisdom and where it fits in the timeline? Does anyone remember what I said, where Echoes of Wisdom fits in the timeline? Why I said it fits in the timeline? What? You don't remember? You guys are lying if you don't remember. You guys are saying Grovel says he doesn't remember just because he doesn't want me to be able to say, yeah, I remember you were right. Now we're switching to Zelda talk now. I'm not going to dwell on the whole what's going to happen if the Switch 2 doesn't hit for 20 minutes. Like, let's pause the vibes, guys. Pause the vibes. Like, Nintendo ain't going to F up. So, this is, by the way, on the Japanese website. So this is translated from Nintendo.com Japan, where they actually have the official timeline of Zelda. So you have Skyward Sword, which is the theoretically oldest Zelda game in the timeline. Feed my ego, yes, I love my ego needs feeding, guys. Next comes Minish Cap, odd but okay. Four Swords, Ocarina of Time, and after Ocarina of Time, just so you know, the timeline splits. You have the hero is defeated, or what's called sometimes as the fallen hero timeline. And you have the hero's triumphant, which is basically the hero is triumphant timeline. Hero's triumphant is hero's triumphant. Well, they now updated the timeline to tell us where Echoes of Wisdom fits in. And do you think it's in the Hero of Triumphant timeline? Let's go look at the adult era. Oh, we have Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks. Nah, it's not there. Is he in the child era? Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, Four Swords. Nah, not there. Oh, guys, look at this right here. The hero is defeated timeline. What did I tell you guys? And on top of it, it is the basically oldest game in the timeline before the NES games. So the NES games are the end of the hero timeline. The hero is defeated timeline for the moment. But Echoes of Wisdom, what did I say the whole time we were talking about Echoes of Wisdom? We could see relics from A Link to the Past, A Link's Awakening, A Link Between Worlds. We could all see iconic zones from that, but that looked decrepit and years old. So this was the hero's timeline after A Link to the Past, which is exactly where I said it was gonna be. So once again, I was right. And it is interesting just to see Nintendo confirm how right I am. You know, and it's funny that they did this after I confirmed it, you know. So they were waiting for me to say it's this timeline, and they're like, yeah, you're right. But just joking aside, it is fun to just see that it is effectively Echoes of Wisdom is, for the moment, the end of the Fallen Hero timeline before the NES games, which, as you can see here, is considered separate from by the decline of the Hyrule Kingdom. So it is supposed to be the beginning of the end, if you will. But isn't it amazing, guys, that, you know, and that is why I love the game so much. Because if you guys don't know, this is probably, and I'm going to say something that's going to drive some people nuts, this is probably my favorite Switch Zelda game. Even though I know that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are so much bigger games, and I love them as well. Don't get me wrong, I love them. My favorite Nintendo Switch Zelda game, let's just phrase that properly. I'm not saying it's my favorite Zelda game of all time. It's my favorite Zelda game that, like, originally released on the Switch is Echoes of Wisdom. It is my favorite one of all of them. Now, my favorite of all time is A Link to the Past. Okay? That is my favorite of all time. But it shows why I probably loved it that much. Because this is probably my favorite timeline of all. Like, all the games in this, to me, are like 9 out of 10s or above. Except maybe Triforce Heroes, which would be an 8. Like A Link to the Past is a 10 out of 10. Link's Awakening is like a 9 out of 10. The remake is amazing as well. I still put it at a 9 though, because if we're looking at it like, if we consider the hardware it was on, like the original one is a 9 out of 10 for a Game Boy game. Maybe even a 10 out of 10 for a Game Boy game. And Link's Awakening is like a 9 out of 10, the remake for a Switch game. Oracle of Seasons and Ages, let's be honest, guys, they're 10 out of 10s. A Link Between World, once again, a 10 out of 10. Triforce Heroes is like an 8. And Echoes of Wisdom is a 10. Like, this is like the golden age of Zelda when we're talking about game quality. And look, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are in its own section down here. But just so you know, the timeline has now officially been updated. And you know what? Nintendo should have actually done this right away. I hate all Zelda games equally. It's all good. It's all good, Wild One. You know, some people just have bad taste, and it's fine. Like, it happens. It happens. You know, some of the best people have some of the worst taste. It's okay. Yeah, Minish was actually really freaking solid. Minish Cap was extremely solid. And Capcom is a top-notch developer. Like, if you think of some of all the series that Capcom has come out with, they are a top-notch developer. And I find they're one of the excellent developers that, even jumping into the AAA era, managed to balance quality with like hitting those AAA vibes. And they still managed to pop out original ideas where the games don't all feel cookie cutter. Now, maybe some of the latest Resident Evil games, I find they went back into their bad habits of focusing on the action again, rather than the atmosphere. Like, I think to me, Resident Evil hit its peak like at Resident Evil, like, it had a peak on Resident Evil 2, went down a bit for 3, went super high up for 4, went down again for 5 and 6, went super high again for 7, and then slightly dropped on 8. Like, 8 felt again like they were going too far in the action sequence. Like, they were trying to put the weird vibe with the killer ladies and crap, but it didn't have the same insanity vibe that the 7th one had. Yeah, Monster Hunter is awesome. Look, anyway, Capcom is awesome. That is the moral of the story. Now, last little thing we have is we're going to look at a few updates for the Nintendo Switch Online for the stories before we get into the new games. So, in case you guys haven't been following, now I did pop in the last couple of weeks because last week we did the top 10 list, so we weren't here. But we did get Donkey Kong Land 1 and 2 on the Game Boy. So while I'm talking about it, I'm going to play the trailers but muted. So we got Donkey Kong Land 1 and 2, which, if you guys don't know, it's pretty much the Donkey Kong Country series that was ported to the Game Boy. Honestly, these are awesome updates. Now, look, these are not the best versions of Donkey Kong Country in any means. However, just the fact that they managed to port these games back in the day on the Game Boy hardware was a feat in itself. Okay? So I do want to give them props, and it is fun because Nintendo officially, once Donkey Kong 3D, not Donkey Kong 3D, Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Country 3D, right? I always make a mistake about the name of that one. The one that's coming out in January. Donkey Kong Returns HD. It's Returns. It's not 3D. It's the other one. Okay. Donkey Kong Returns HD. Once it's out in January, every Donkey Kong Country game will be on the Switch. will be playable on the Switch. So we got Donkey Kong Land 1 that was announced 2 weeks ago. Then they followed it up with, where the heck did it go? Donkey Kong Land 2 that was then announced this week. So this past week, we got Donkey Kong Land 2 that was also announced, which once again is an awesome game. If my player will stop buffering, thank you. So we got this game announced this week. My God, what is wrong with the buffering? I hope this doesn't do this for the trailers because I'm going to flip out. My Chrome has been being a piece of whatchamacallit. Is it the full screen that's doing it? No, now we should be good. No, it's the full screen is messing up. I don't know why. Hopefully it's just this one Chrome page. We're going to hope that the others are good. But basically, we got both Donkey Kong Country Land games on the Switch. On top of Donkey Kong Country Returns coming in January, which means that we're going to have the full Donkey Kong Country series playable on one system. I don't know if you understand how much of a feat that is. It is actually really, really fun. Yeah, Donkey Kong Country Land 3 is next week. It's coming. Hold on, Donkey Kong Country Land 3. Is there a Land 3? There is. I saw that it was coming because Nintendo said they were going to have all of them. They say it's already available on the Nintendo Switch Online. That's weird. Is it? I'll check on it, guys. But Nintendo officially put out a trailer saying that the whole Donkey Kong Country series will be available. So if it isn't already available, it will be. It will be shortly. Because they said the whole series will be available. Exactly. Unfortunately, I cast Topaz disappear. No, she just walked by. She sat on me for 30 seconds, decided she didn't want to stay there, and went on. So it's honestly really, really fun. Donkey Kong 64 is coming as well. Isn't it already out? Guys, you guys are driving me nuts here. You're asking me to check it live. Let me just see. There you go. Hold on, guys. Give me a sec. I know it's on the music app, you're right, but I'm sure it's supposed to be coming. I'm sure we saw it. Nintendo Donkey Kong Country. You guys are driving me nuts here. Okay, let's watch this together. And now is it gonna mess up if I put it in full screen? I think it was only that other video. I should have reloaded it. So we have Donkey Kong Country, available on Nintendo Switch Online. Did they lie to us? Are there missing games? Donkey Kong Country 2, obviously. That we already knew we had it. Topaz is back. They're spending a lot of time on these games. How long is this trailer? 2 minutes, 59 seconds, guys. They gotta start moving this. Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. My favorite was the second one, to be honest. Like, my favorite of the original Donkey Kong countries was the second one. The third one was excellent as well. It just, I don't know. It never captured me as much as the second one. I think the fact that Donkey Kong was not playable was probably the biggest turnoff for the third one. Then we have Tropical Freeze. Oh, maybe they aren't counting the lands. They're counting only the games with Donkey Kong Country in it. But no, but it's not. But I saw rumors that 64 was coming in. What the Topaz throw on the ground? No, you have to stop throwing stuff on the ground, girl. So that doesn't solve our problem. I think you're right that 64 is not there yet. 64 is not there yet, but it should be coming. So when they were talking, they meant the country games. They're not counting the lands, and you're right. I think Donkey Kong Country Land 3 is missing. But you guys are right. Dang it. But I'm almost sure it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Yeah, but honestly, if they got Banjo-Kazooie, there's nowhere they're not getting Donkey Kong 64. Eventually, we're gonna get it. And don't forget that this chat is always right. No, the only person always right is me. By the way, oh my god, I wanted to I'm gonna show you guys later, at the end of the stream. I want to show you guys like an idea that I had for a t-shirt, and I'm trying to get a decent design going. Anyway, I'll keep that till the end of the stream. I was like, do I do it now? Oh, let's do it now. Let's do it now. Since we're on like this topic, and we have one last thing to look at in the stories, so we're gonna, why not? You guys know that I'm never very like I always have an idea of what like how organized I want to be, and then basically, okay. So I wanted a design with something like this, okay, for a t-shirt, like a dead character laying on the ground. And then I wanted to put like, I'm going to play around with where, but I want to put, it was the controller. And basically, like, I think I'd cut out the shield, and I'd do like only like, you know what I mean? Like do a small design here, like around him, with just a little bit of ground. And then basically I'd want to fit in like the wording, it was like, or it was the controller, or the control, like but yeah, like I think I want to turn that into a t-shirt, because and I think it would fit in well with the channel. And then if you guys really like the design, I might be able to make like, you know, like, I don't know, a dozen t-shirts for people that would want them or something. Like, I think that would be actually a really funny design, and it would actually fit in pretty well with the channel. And at the same time, like I would like you see like if we give him green hair or something like that, I don't think Nintendo can sue me because he's not actually wearing the bonnet. The controller did it, or it was the controller, or yeah, like I'll don't worry. I'm gonna work on the wording because it has to be like it has to look good too. Because a T-shirt isn't only about what it says; it's how it looks. So I have to see like with depending on how many words are in the sentence and everything, what actually like what actually would work. Would you make a hoodie as well? I guess I could. Like once I have the design, I can probably put it on anything I want. But I think this would be like a good basic design to start with. And then you put like, blame the controller or, exactly. Anyway, that was my idea. Like I had another design, which was even less even less, Zelda-like, but less because I'm like, oh, if Nintendo, I don't want Nintendo to get on my butt or anything. The controller is broken. Yeah, it's because the controller is broken. I think is like points less to the fact that you're blaming the controller, or like it was the controller. It's like I said, I'm going to get the wording right. And worst comes to worst, once I have the designs done, I'll maybe show you guys like 4 or 5 designs and you can tell me which one you find are the best. Like I might put them on the exactly, with plot placement, font and all that. And like I said, don't look at the overall design because I'll be cutting out parts. You know what I mean? It'll be, yeah. Diddy took his guys, man, stop with the Diddy stuff, man. Diddy is like Diddy did it, or like this looks like a Diddy party, or like the diddler, man. That is gonna, I don't know how long that's gonna last, but like it's become such a like freaking crazy thing. Now, the last update I wanted to look at, let's finish up the stories here, and we can chat a bit maybe before jumping into the games, is we also have an update for the Sega Genesis. And this has at least one really amazing game, possibly 2 really amazing games in it. So if you guys don't know, we have now this is for the expansion pack. So for those who do have the expansion pack, there's an update to the Sega Genesis games, and let's watch the trailer. One of my all-time favorite, like among my favorite Sega games are in this. So we have Toe Jam and Earl Panic on Funkatron, which is actually a pretty fun action-style game in the series, because a lot of them were like adventure-seeking games, but this was actually, the Sega Genesis one was actually like an action game, sort of like Earthworm Jim, but not as hard. This is the game that I'm talking about. Like this game, everyone should play it. If you have never played Vector Man, guys, it's like it's amazing. It's like it's a 2D action platformer, and this game, when it came out on the Genesis, man, you have no idea how many hours I played this game. And lastly, we have Mercs, which looks like sort of like Akari Warriors, like a Zelda-style Akari Warriors, or top-down Contra, like it was in Contra. It was Super Contra, I think, that introduced like the top-down perspective. Is it Super Contra? Anyway, one of the Contra games, it looks like top-down Contra, basically, or Akari Warriors. But those games are going to be coming out very soon on the Nintendo Switch Online service. Do we have the date exactly? Is it on here? They might be live right now. But either way, make sure you play Vector Man. Vector Man is so much fun. I know Dune Battle for Arrakis. I agree with you, Psychosis Media. I played it. If you guys don't know, it's like Command and Conquer on the Genesis. Like Dune Battle for Arrakis is basically like Command and Conquer, but with the Dune, with Dune, like with the Dune IP. And I was playing that game and I love it, and I had no idea what the heck Dune was back in the day. It was Psychosis. I played it for hours. That was like my that was my introduction to what you call it, the not FPS gameplay, like StarCraft, basic RTS, real-time strategy games. Yeah, it was pre-rendered graphics, but honestly, it's such a different style than Donkey Kong Country, and it's a run and gun shooter. But I'm gonna warn, however, it's pretty difficult. Like it's like a challenging indie run and gun shooter, but it is top notch. And for the day when it came out, the graphics were amazing. Now, obviously, compared to today's graphics, it's not going to be amazing. But you have to remember that when the Genesis came out, this was like pushing the Genesis to its max. But okay, so we have that update coming. Honestly, it's a pretty solid month for updates. Because even though, like I said, the Donkey Kong Land on the Game Boy aren't the best versions, I do feel they deserve a playthrough. If you've never played them, to actually see how the game's played on Game Boy is actually an experience in itself. Okay. Now, we are getting into the upcoming Switch games. I'm just going to take a minute to replace myself. Replace myself, that doesn't work. But to sit up straight, get ready, because we have 9 Switch games coming out this week. I'm just going to do a little intro because, like you guys know, I'm going to release the new coming games section tomorrow separately. So, welcome back, everyone. We are going to be looking at the new Switch games for this week. Now, we have 9 games to look at for this week, and we do have one update. However, disappointingly, there is a game that was supposed to come out this week, actually on the 3rd, so when this video is actually coming out, that has been delayed, and has been delayed indefinitely for the Switch. They haven't given another date, although they are aiming before the end of 2024. Okay, now I'm going to stop talking. That was just a little intro, guys. You know, I've got to do it so that the video makes sense. Okay. So, perfect. So first, let's start with our update. So, unfortunately, the game that was delayed is going to be Antonblast. Now, this is a game that was supposed to be coming out on December 3rd. Unfortunately, the Steam version will be coming out, but the Nintendo Switch version has been delayed. Now, as I said, developers saying that they are still hoping to release it in 2024, but unfortunately, due to performance issues on the Switch, they've had to delay the game. Now, we're not going to look too deeply into it because I'm going to look at the game in one of these videos when it's actually releasing. I was hoping to do that today, but unfortunately, we've got to switch gears, and I just wanted, nonetheless, to give this as a little PSA. If you were wondering where this game is, it was unfortunately delayed. It was announced on Twitter. However, for the moment, they haven't updated the Nintendo Switch posting on the website, so it still looks like the game is supposed to be coming out on December 3rd. So we're not going to spend any more time on Antonblast. Like I said, we'll look at the game when it's actually coming out. Now, for our real first game that is coming out for also December 3rd, we have Diesel Legacy. Now, this game is coming out, as I said, December 3rd. It is going to be selling for $29.99. And I've got to tell you, it is intriguing me. Like, I have a very high level of intrigue to how this game is actually going to work. This is going to be a 2-on-2 fighter, which is supposed to also have online play. Now, when I say 2-on-2 fighter, I'm not talking about you can swap out your fighter and you choose 2 characters. No, no, no. 2 people are going to each be controlling 1 character on one side, and 2 people are going to be controlling 2 characters on the other side, and all 4 characters are going to be fighting at once. The concept itself on its own has me so intrigued that I definitely want to try this game. Will I be able to try it this week? I'm not too sure, but now let's take a look at the trailer and you can see what I'm talking about.
Diesel Legacy, an all-new fighting game saga. 2 versus 2 action. Three lanes, 1 battle.
Special delivery.
Local and online multiplayer. Introducing Diesel Mark.
Honestly, I really like the design on the characters as well. The design on the characters looks super interesting, and I'm just wondering how all this gameplay is going to come together. And you see some sections are one-on-one. Do you have the choice between one-on-one?
All right, let's get
Or is it
aboard.
always 2v2?
Devastation! No surrender!
Diesel Legacy.
So, I don't know about you guys, but I am extremely intrigued about how this game is going to work. And if you're into out there fighting games, this could be a really interesting pickup. Now, let's talk about the price. $29.99 is pretty expensive for an indie fighter. And considering the concept, I'm not sure how balanced it will be for online play and competitive play. This might be one of those games that you are going to want to wait to for a review just to see how it actually turns out. But nonetheless, I did find it was a very interesting game for this week. And definitely it's one that I'm going to be keeping an eye on and most likely coming back to next week once I get a chance to maybe try it or at least check out a few reviews and see what people are saying about the game. Now, next, we're moving over to December 5th. And on December 5th, we are going to have quite a few games releasing. And the first one is going to be Rollercoaster Tycoon Classic. This game is going to be selling for $24.99. Now, it's actually I'm not going to say remake, but it is a enhanced version of the original Rollercoaster Tycoon. Now, I actually have a really fond place for this game in my heart because I really liked the first Rollercoaster Tycoon. So I'm super happy to be able to play it on Switch. But let's take a look at the trailer, then we're going to talk about it a little bit more. Obviously, the graphics are going to be showing their age, but this game isn't about the graphics, it's about the fun. And I think the first one still had enough simplicity where you could get everything done, and the game still came together really nicely. It's crazy to think that a lot of the concepts haven't evolved that much since the original game. The graphics have, but this game initiated so many concepts for the genre that I've got to say most of them are almost done the same nowadays, with maybe just a little bit of more ease of use. Now, the one problem I have with this game is, let's be honest, the price tag. This is a really old game. Am I super excited that it's coming to the Switch? Yes. But to be honest, I feel like this game should have been $15 at max. $24.99, I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to buy it nonetheless. But I do feel that this would have felt like a perfect launch at about $15. $24.99 for a game that's this old, especially when you can pick up the second one with all the expansions and everything for under $20 right now when it's on sale, feels like too much of a stretch. If you are looking to pick this one up, I would recommend wait maybe a month. This might actually be a game that will be on sale during the after Christmas sales. So you know what? Worst comes to worst, if you get an eShop card and you want to pick this one up, you can check it out. It most likely will be available for sale. And I do agree, because I do see someone saying in the chat, I do wish the other Tycoon games would come out, like Zoo Tycoon and Zoo Tycoon 2. I do agree. Those games, I would wish they would come to Switch. They are a lot of fun as well. I actually still have the original disc for PC for Zoo Tycoon 2. Okay, but moving on. So we have Rollercoaster Tycoon. Just quick reminder, that is December 5th, $24.99. Next, still on December 5th, we have Fantasian Neo Dimension. Now, this game will be selling for $49.99. It is a Square Enix original title made by the original person behind the Final Fantasy series. And you know what? I think that this could be a really winning formula for Square Enix to focus a little bit more on these sort of AA titles, if you will, with original IPs that maybe people have less expectations about, and they're really going to appreciate for their own merit. And this game looks like it has a ton of potential to do that. At $49.99, it's right under that AAA price. It's like $10 off. Let's take a look, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Embark on a multi-dimensional journey. From Final Fantasy series creator Hironobu Sakaguchi and composer Nobuo Uematsu comes the turn-based RPG Fantasian. The world is slowly being robbed of its civilization. To restore his memories, Leo must confront an evil entity threatening all mankind.
Them? The malevolent god?
Skills are the ticket to winning battles.
I want you guys to tell me after that which one of the Final Fantasy games this gives you vibes about.
Come on, Magic!
You can also send enemies you've encountered to a separate dimension and fight them later.
Evolution to the random combat,
The
which
more
is
enemies
really
there
fun.
are, the more you can wipe out in one shot.
I'm really worried. I'm really interested to see how these concepts are going to work out in reality.
Save the world together.
Because random battles is a recurring issue that a lot of people complain about, getting a balance with it. And I'm wondering if this game is finally going to sort of solve that issue. So, super excited. And I've got to tell you, when I look at the vibes of the game I'm getting, so obviously the combat system is different. But if I'm looking at the vibes, I don't know why, but I'm feeling Final Fantasy VIII. Like, I'm getting Final Fantasy VIII vibes from this game. I could see an argument for Final Fantasy XII as well, but the turn-based combat, the viewpoint, even the design of the characters and everything gives me Final Fantasy VIII vibes. And that's why I'm so positive about this game. And I really hope that Square Enix sees that there's still a ton of interest for well-done turn-based games. Do I think every RPG has to be turn-based? Obviously not. But the fact that they've brought the Final Fantasy series so far away from its roots, I think is one of the reasons they've heard it over the last few releases. And I really hope they go back to a little bit the drawing board and seeing what made the series great to begin with. Like solid turn-based mechanics and whatnot. And Fantasian, coming from the original series creator, seems like they gave him free reign to make his own game. They said, you know what? We want Final Fantasy to be one thing, but you want to do your own thing. Go do it with a new series. And you know what? I hope this game sells well. I hope it's good as well, because it's not a guarantee. I hope it turns out to be a good game. And if it is, I hope it sells well to send the message that, you know what? Not every game has to be like super high, like action-based and whatnot. But we have Square Enix coming out with Fantasian Neo Dimension. Definitely, I think one of the forerunning games for this week. Check it out. It is on the expensive side, $49.99, releasing December 5th. Okay, now we come to my long shot of the week. And this is the game that I said looks like a stream game, possibly. Okay, and that is going to be Savant, Ascent Remix. Now, this game is going to be releasing also on December 5th, but it is only going to be selling for $7.49. But I have a very strong interest in this game. Let's take a look. Oh my God. Come on, trailer. Give me a sec, guys. It is being Let's just reload it. There we go. So Ascent Remix. Number one, visual style looks amazing. They look like street sharks. Those bad guys just look like street sharks. It is supposed to be a mix of a bullet hell platformer. And on top of it, it's coming from the same company that is publishing Owlboy. It is their second game that they're publishing on the Nintendo Switch eShop. Owlboy is an amazing Metroidvania. So you know what? I'm going to give them the benefit for this one. This is my long shot game. I can't guarantee it's going to be good, but based on the company's track record with their previous game, I think we could be looking at something really solid here for this one. So we have Ascent Remix, $7.49 on December 5th. If you want to take a long shot on an indie game, and I would put my money on this one for this week. Next, we also have on December 5th, I told you guys December 5th is a pretty packed day. We have Mythwrecked, the Ambrosia Island. Now this is a puzzle adventure game. Once again, very interesting art style. Seems like more of a laid back game, however. No combat apparent in it, but it seems to be really focused around exploration and puzzles and a comedic turn to the classic Greek gods. Because basically it's featured on like Greek gods being on like a tropical holiday almost. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Wow. Huh. Hi.
I'm liking the art style. It's maybe not my favorite, but I still like it. I find it works for the vibe they're going with the game. Like I said, there seems to be like it feels good from time to time to have a game that's a little bit more laid back. You don't have to worry about dying. You don't have to be worried about fast reflexes. It really seems all about exploration, puzzle solving, and I love those games from time to time, especially when you need to wind down at the end of a day and you just want to sort of lay back in bed and chill a bit before going to bed. This could be a really good game. And it's been out on, I believe, on other systems before. I honestly think that this one is going to be a good game for someone looking for a cozy, chill game for this week. And I'm going to be honest, there really isn't other games in this vibe for this week. So if you are looking, I think this is going to be your best shot. Now, this game is going to sell for $24.99. I'm sorry, I forgot to say that at the beginning. So it'll be releasing, like I said, on December 5th for $24.99. It is a little bit on the high side once again. This is a game I feel should have been released more at a $20 price point. Like, we're not far off. It feels like maybe $5 too much for the style of game, but depending on how long it is and how much quality it's offering, it could work out. I didn't look at a how long to beat or anything like that. So if it's offering, I would say over 7 to 8 hours, it could be worth the price. If we're under that time frame, it's going to be a hard sell at $24.99. But nonetheless, I think a solid game releasing for this week. Next, we are still on December 5th. We are going to look at Heaven Seeker, the savior of this cruel world. So this is, it looks like a twin stick shooter. It reminds me somewhat of Enter the Gungeon. However, with a unique art style and a unique setup. Let's take a look. Now, I could only find the Japanese trailer for this one, but gameplay-wise, we're going to see everything we need to see. Now, this game is going to be releasing, like I said, December 5th, and it'll be selling for $19.99. We're going to talk about that price after we see the game. So we seem to be able to choose different classes of characters in here. And like I said, I think you can right away see what I'm talking about, the Enter the Gungeon vibes. Like, a lot of the basics seem similar, although we're playing like spellcasters in this rather than necessarily depending on weaponry. Pixel art style seems interesting. It seems pretty solid. And by the way, it is confirmed to be a roguelike game as well, which is something else we're going to talk about once we're done this. See, the boss I find should be rendered a little higher, like, and maybe they're limited by whatever engine they're using or whatnot, but the bosses look a little bit too low res, especially because the bosses are so big. Like, I find when bosses get that big, you have no choice but to sort of up the rendering or the resolution on them, or else they look too fuzzy. It works for the small characters, but maybe less for the bosses. So bullet hell gameplay is definitely a concept here, which is why, like I'm saying, I'm getting very heavy Enter the Gungeon vibes. Like, if you've played a lot of Enter the Gungeon, you'll recognize the basis of the gameplay seems extremely similar. So once again, I think it looks like a pretty solid game for the genre.
Thanks for watching this episode of Angry.
And every time my video ends, it's giving me AVGN. Like, I guess it knows what I like. But Heaven Seeker, the savior of this cruel world, like I said, it looks like a extremely solid game. The problem is, once again, I feel it's like $5 too much. If this game was around $10 to $15, it would feel like a game worth picking up. However, at the $20 price point, in the roguelike genre, the competition is too fierce. And I think that that's something that, you know, indie developers, I'm sure they look at it, but they need to look at it deeper. They have to look at what games are selling for similar prices and really tell yourself, you know, is my game going to stand out against these other games? If this game was $10 to $15, I think it would definitely stand out. At $20, there's too much competition at that price point. But nonetheless, if you're into the roguelike genre, this seems like a very interesting one. The one sort of thing that I'm debating here is that if you haven't played the original Enter the Gungeon, I would recommend that one first. because although this game seems like it's based heavily on it, I'm not sure it's actually gonna be more worthwhile than the original Enter the Gungeon, which, if I'm not mistaken, at full price is around $15. And I think right now, if it's still on sale, you can pick up for like $4 or $4.49, something like that. But nonetheless, interesting game for this week, 1999, releasing on December 5th. Next, we have another indie game releasing this week, and this one has me extremely interested as well. And it's a very cheap game this time. It is called Pampas Selene, and it is releasing also on December 5th. It'll be selling for $9.99. Now, the reason this is not a stream game is that this game can be played solo, but the beauty of it is going to be playing in co-op. Unfortunately, I play alone on my streams, so there is no co-op to play, but it is a co-op Metroidvania. And when you're playing on the system, it actually goes into split screen. So you can actually explore different parts of the map at the same time with someone. This seems like an extremely interesting concept. It's a very pixel art heavy game, but on the concept itself, it seems really interesting. And secondly, this is an extremely well put together trailer, especially on the audio side. Let's take a look and you'll see what I'm talking about.
In a time long past, an evil priest invaded Castle Mogdov,
Like, they're going deep into the retro concept.
upon the kingdom. Two brave heroes step forth to vanquish the tyranny.
The 80s
returning
announcer
peace
voice
to
is
the
epic.
land. Now, 40 years later, the children of the old heroes must rise to fight evil once again. Join Pampas and Selene as they explore the large, nay, huge Castle Mogdos in this retro co-op mania. This labyrinth holds many dangers. You may face the perils alone, but could also invite a friend online or quest locally side by side.
You can even play online,
The
by the
journey
way.
ahead will unlock mysterious powers, granting fearsome ways to defeat monsters and minions. And even greater powers can be earned by meeting the many gods and goddesses that offer blessings and treasures beyond your wildest dreams. But these gifts are not given freely. 10 profane realms, each with unique bosses and challenges, must be conquered to prove bravery in battle. Will our heroes survive these daring trials? And when they come face to face with the terrible demons
And
who
the
oppose
bosses
them,
look
which
great.
side
Look
will
at
live
this.
to tell the tale? The tale of Pampas
See what I
and
mean? The boss
Selene.
gets bigger.
Available now.
See what I mean? The boss gets bigger,
Tell the tale.
but look at how much higher resolution the boss is than the characters. The boss is bigger. You need to up the resolution because the bigger the character with low resolution, the worse it's going to look. But for $10 for a co-op Vania, look, this one I'd be willing to drop some money on and take a chance on it. Just for the unique concept, and plus you can play with a friend online. I would have never thought that a retro game like this would have online co-op play, but it does. So you know what? Definitely as front runner for this week. If you want something original that most people will probably skip over, Pampas and Selene, I think, could be a hit. Now, you might, as usual, wait for a review. I'll try and play the game as well myself. It's just a super busy time of year, as you know, unfortunately, because I'm only doing this part-time. But I will try to give it a try. But very interesting concept, and you see, I feel at $10, it's an excellent price point for a game like this. This is a game where, look, at $10, it's worth giving it a shot, and you just might find an awesome game at a very, very good price point. So Pampas and Selene, December 5th, definitely on the radar. Now we have 2 games left for today. Next is going to be our last game for December 5th, Gunlocked, which is also releasing at a pretty budget price point of $7.99. Now, this is going to be a retro-styled shoot-'em-up. It just looks like a very well put together one. And you know what? Shoot-'em-ups, there are a lot available on the Switch, but when you can pick them up at a decent price point, you can chew through them pretty quickly. So I know that shmup fans are always on the lookout for a next pretty decent one that can kill a few hours. And this looks like it could be a pretty decent option. And like I said, December 5th, $7.99. Let's take a look at the trailer. And I really like the art style once again. It gives that retro modern vibe. The weaponry and setup also seems original enough that it feels like a different game. Like it's not just your standard basic shooter. Like you saw at one point there was like a physical, almost like lightsaber rolling around the ship. So Gunlocked, releasing December 5th. Trailer is not too long, but I think it shows you what you need to see about the game. Once again, if you're a shoot-'em-up fan, I do think this one is worth a look for this week. Going to be a pretty solid release in my opinion, but once again, we have to wait till we get it in our hands to make sure about that. Now, our last game for this week is I want to talk about it because probably a lot of people are going to be looking at it, but my personal recommendation on this next one will be wait for a sale, but it's still worth taking a look at, and that is Dogman Mission Impossible, as a dog's paw, so impossible. This game is releasing on December 6th. However, it has a price tag of $39.99. We're going to look at it. I'm going to be honest, I think this game might actually be okay. It just doesn't feel like a game that should be $40. The problem is it's based on an IP that some people apparently know out there. Personally, I didn't know about Dogman really before this, but apparently it's a decently well-known IP, which is why I think they're trying to sell this game for $39.99. Now let's take a look. So it's an action platformer. However, it alternates different characters that are going to have different play styles. Exactly. Oh, I didn't know it was from Hunter x Hunter. Are you sure? Are you sure it's the same dog band as Hunter x Hunter? I'm not feeling like it is. Now, if it is a kid's game, yeah, the name is the same. That's what I meant. It's just like, because I know the characters in Hunter x Hunter, but I'm like, that's not what Dogman looks like. But, so it's a children's book. So Psychosis Media says it comes from children's books. So personally, I didn't know about this because my kids never went crazy about Dogman. But look, the game seems like it's actually could be a pretty decently put together platformer. However, it looks like a platformer that should be costing around $10 to $15. The same style as Captain Underpants. Okay. Thank you for the information, guys. You know, sometimes I try to do my quick research, but this didn't feel like I needed to go too deep into. I was evaluating on the gameplay, and either way, for $39.99, it feels overpriced. If the game is well put together and the quality of the platforming is decent, I can see this game being a decent pickup for around, like, you know, maybe $10 to $15, or maybe because it's a semi-known IP, $20 could be okay. But at $40, it seems like a very hard sell. But I did feel like I had to have it on the list since a lot of people were sort of talking about this game and wondering how it would be. If I had kids, though, I'll be honest, I wouldn't jump on this game for $40, even if you're looking for a Christmas gift, because you have way better options out there that are kid-friendly at very similar price points. But that will wrap up our new Switch games for this week. Honestly, a pretty decent week overall. A couple of really solid indie games that are interesting in Pampas and Selene and Savant, the Ascent remakes. We have a really interesting possible RPG in Fantasian Neo Dimension. A solid retro game with Rollercoaster Tycoon Classic coming back, and Diesel Legacy that is really interesting me. And, you know, even the other games were interesting nonetheless, but I would say those were the definite standouts for this week. Let me know in the comments down below, what games do you think you'll be picking up for this week? Are there any maybe that I missed that I didn't put in this list that you thought looked good for this week? You can also let me know that in the comments down below. And as usual, I hope I'll see all of you in my next video. Okay, that was just the little outro for the people watching the video tomorrow. Next week is Wukong Physical and Fairy Tail 2. Yeah. Fairy Tail honestly was pretty solid the first game. When I first picked it up, I didn't know it was going to be a turn-based RPG. And when I did, I was sort of more interested in it. I was worried they were going to give it like the Naruto treatment where it was going to be like an arena-style fighter. And I was really happy to know it was a turn-based RPG. It really works well with the gameplay and with the IP. I know. I just need to do it because I was trying to edit the videos together so that they make sense, and it's always a little rough when I do that. That's why I tried to switch it fast and go like, "Hey, yeah, guys, it's not over. It's not over." But honestly, I'm happy about this week because the last couple of weeks it was a little rough. There wasn't much to look at. This week had some solid ones. There was also a really funny like dating game. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was, and I was actually somewhat interested in it till I found out it was like one girl dating like 3 guys, and I was like, if it was the reverse, I'd be interested in it because it could be hella funny. But playing a female character trying to date 3 guys just doesn't feel like something I could like. Like, if it's the opposite, I think I could turn it into funny stuff. But the other way around, I don't think so. I'm trying to see what name it was. Oh, yeah. Well, I meant 2 players controlling 1 character each. I should have probably said each. Like, 2 players controlling 1 character. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Like, rereading it, if I said it that way, didn't make sense. But I meant you have 2 players each controlling 1 character versus 2 other players each controlling 1 character. That's what I meant to say. If it didn't come out that way, that's sort of like what I meant by the way I was trying to explain it. What is that freaking game that's coming out this week? The dating game. Give me a second. I'll check it out. Worst comes to worst, I might like put some words on the screen saying, you know, I meant 2 players controlling each a separate character or something like that. Give me a sec. I just want to jump on the eShop really quick on my Switch. I've got it like right here. It's easier than switching my display and whatnot to the Switch right now since I'm in screen share mode. I want to show you guys the other dating game because I actually saw someone playing one of these online and it looked funny as hell. And I was like, dude, this could be actually a lot of fun to play on stream. However, like oh God, can you please stop being slow as F? You know, we're talking about that eShop being slow. Give me a sec, guys. No, no one can see my password. Well, I'm wondering, like, I can't imagine that the game forces you to play 2v2. Well, maybe if it's online, but like, there must be a local play mode where you can play 1v1. I'm wondering if, like, the computer's going to control the second one. Yeah, my password is password. You're right. Damn, I'm going to have to change it now. I mean, I was like, it's brilliant. Who's going to think that the password is password, you know? I'm just trying to find the title of the game, but the eShop, you know, loads so fast. Dude, this is insane. Come on. Like, we were joking around, but this is like right now it's actually being super painful. Like, I'm stuck on the, like, it still hasn't loaded, like, the page. Oh, it just came up. I want to see if there's a trailer that I can pop up. Like, this isn't in the suggested games. This isn't officially suggested games, but it looked funny as hell. It's like a Korean dating games, and they do it with they do it with actual video. So it's like going back to the 90s where they actually filmed like video, and then it's like a choose your sort of where you want to go type thing. Where the hell did it disappear? Oh, dude, don't tell me it's not available in Canada, but it's available in the US. Dude, I think it's not available in Canada, so I can't see it on the Canadian eShop. So dumb. Give me a sec, I have to switch accounts. It's going to take forever now. Oh, this is painful. Yeah, AOL speed, you're right. Dude, I had AOL. My first internet connection was AOL. And yes, we had America Online in Canada for people that are like, what? You're Canadian. Yes, we had AOL in Canada. Without the sound? Oh my god, the sound were the best. Come on. Come on, who doesn't remember that stuff? For getting online. Taking about 15 minutes to like download a picture. Dude, man, you're killing me here. You're killing me, Smalls. Like all this to get the title of a game that I can't remember. And let's see, it got delisted since I made my list, and that's why I can't find it. Rick, will you check this one out? Yeah, you want those games, right? So here you go. Now let's see you clear them. Yes, real game title. Let me check. I'll check it right away after. Now I can search directly online. Oh my god, can you stop shooting it? We're once again waiting for it to load. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Coming soon, page. Come on. You can do it. Like, honestly, the Wi-Fi might be really slow because I'm streaming too. I don't know. It shouldn't be, but it might be. Okay, we're in. Love too easily. Fall in love too easily. Okay, let's see if there's a trailer for this. Give me a sec. Oh, there is. It's a FMV game. Look, man, this looks super freaking funny. The only thing is, like I said, it's like a Korean dating show, but it turned into a game where you sort of have to select what you're going to do. And my kids are super into K-dramas. Okay, that was a super short and crappy trailer. Okay, this seems to be longer. Yeah, it's a K-drama. My kids love them. My kids on Netflix watch them all the time. It seems to be a girl that has to decide which
조별과제로
one of the four
뭉쳤었다.
guys she wants
어제
to date.
술집 멤버는 5명. 발 주워버렸는데? 찾아야 할 것 같다. 그 사람을.
Like,
저 세 사람 중에
I saw someone
내
play one of
키스
these, but
상을
he played like a guy and he had to
자연스럽게
date like
문제
five
떠보자.
different girls.
너무 좋아.
그런 취향이었어?
네가 책임져.
And it seems so much more in like
설마 너?
I don't think I could play the reverse role.
그 정도는 해야 생각이 나잖아.
Well, it might be funny too, but
그냥 나랑 키스한 것만 해보자. 그럼 내가 기억날 거야. 내 남자친구.
yeah, well, we play this for the lulls,
인생은
guys. Like we're not playing this for like
선택의
the actual
연속이다.
drama.
우연한 선택들로 인생이 뒤바뀔 때가 있다.
Like this is a game, remember? Anyway, like they seem to be coming out with a lot of these, by the way. On Steam you can find like a ton of these, and they seem to be now coming to the Nintendo Switch. So crazy. Okay, now what's the other one you said? It is, the title is, will you check this one out? Yeah, you want those games. Right, okay, I think that's enough. Yeah, you want those games, right? So here you go. Now let's see you clear them. Okay. Okay, what's this? Okay, I don't want any of these games. Oh my god, not that, not... Okay, so they're making all these sort of internet games that like have fake ads, they turn them into real games. That's the whole concept, right? So all of those games that you sort of get those fake ads for that turn out to not be the real games, they've made the real games. Oh my god. Exactly, these are the freaking Instagram ads that you hate. Oh. That's actually a funny concept. I'm not gonna lie. That's like a funny concept. It could be worth checking out. When is this? Is it actually releasing on Steam on Switch? Was there a release date? Available now, but not on Switch, right? It's available now. Okay, hold on. Let's just copy paste this here. Oh, it is. It does exist. Wow. Okay, so it's $12.99 here in Canada. And we could actually play all these freaking crazy ass games that we see. Actually, that's pretty freaking funny. Oh man, not this one. This one, don't you hate it when they get it wrong too? Like, don't you hate it when you see, like, you're watching the person do it and you're like, what the F are you doing it? Do we actually want to play this rather than like a like Savant Ascent remix and seen me die a million times? You guys really don't want to see me die in a bullet hell platformer where I'm undoubtedly going to be crap? Yes to you dying. But seriously, it's a consideration. Like, you know, over the holidays, we're probably going to have time to stream more, hopefully. Like, I say that every time and we never do. But, okay, no matter what happens, there's a week in January that I'm off only for Switch stuff. So I like the week of the 6th of January, I'm off. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set a stream schedule, because the problem when I'm on vacation and I say I'm going to stream like 2 or 3 times is I don't set a schedule. What that means is I don't feel like I have to do it, and I always get pulled into other crap. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to definitely set up a stream schedule for that week. What that means is I'm going to feel like I have to be there at these times. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't want to stream. It's that when someone in my family tells me, hey, can you do this? I never say no unless I have something planned. Do you understand? So if it's not planned, I don't feel like I can say, hey, no, I'm supposed to be streaming. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to plan a schedule for that week that I will publish to you guys. Like, I'm going to say, like, look, Monday streaming at, 2 to this, Wednesday streaming on this to this. So that way we are guaranteed that we're going to get like 4 or 5 streams that week. And we're going to have time to catch up on a bunch of games and a bunch of crap that I normally don't have time to do. And there will definitely be like a dumb game stream, which this seems to be like perfect for. Now I have to like wish list this, but I'm not logged in. So I'm just gonna send it to myself. I'm gonna put on a list. Wait, I have a list of play games. Here. Okay. It's on my list of like games I need to check out. A bunch of games where you can watch me die, definitely. Anyway. Okay, guys, we're going to call it here. It's early. It's late-ish early. We're going to call it here for tonight because tomorrow, got to get up really early for a really tough day. Because you know why? I'm going to get a massage at 9:30 tomorrow. Oh, yeah. So I know 9:30 doesn't seem early. It's because I have to go to the gym before that. So I have to get up at like 7 tomorrow, get my daughter ready for school. Then I'm going to hit the gym quick. Then I'm going to come back here, get washed, and go get a massage. And then hopefully, if all goes well, unbox the Turtles thing and try to catch up on some content stuff. I'm probably going to play games too. Yeah, I know, rough day, eh? I have to have some weird woman massaging my body for an hour while I try to sleep on the table. It's really, really rough. I hope you guys never have to go through that on your end. And like I said, Annie, we'll be thinking about you for next Tuesday. I know we'll talk again because you're most likely going to be here. Well, we'll most likely see each other on Friday for the stream, but best wishes. We'll be all thinking about you as I'm playing Power Rangers. And, hopefully when you get up, you'll be able to watch the stream on replay and I'll give you a shout out. Okay? Have a great one, guys. Thanks, everyone, for stopping by. It was super fun tonight. Honestly, I think I want to do these streams like a little bit more chillish, chatty. Hope you guys are liking it. If you don't, let me know in the comments down below as well. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't on your way out. And as usual, I hope I'll see all of you in my next video. Have a great night, guys.